guest tonight has, well, recently been in such films as Austin Powers and The Mirror Has Two Faces. Now, beginning this Friday, she can be seen in the new movie Lost in Space. Let's take a look.
I'm going to do whatever I think it takes to ensure the success of this mission, with or without your help. Is that clear, Professor?
Am I interrupting something? No, really. I think you two should go ahead and slug it out. Please, go for it. I'll have Judy down here in a heartbeat to declare you both unfit, and I'll take over this mission. Now, I don't want to hear another word from you. Is that clear?
Maureen.
Not another word. Better. Now, if you've finished hosing down the decks with testosterone, I suggest you come with me.
Please welcome Mimi Rogers. How are you? You look great. You look fantastic.
Well, thank you. Since we haven't had a date in a while, I decided to dress for it. You don't scare me.
Sometimes it's the pause, the anticipation that makes it.
Oh, I thought you meant the pause, like...
I'm curious about this movie, Lost in Space. I don't know how many people remember the TV show. I watched the TV show because they reran it like crazy in Boston when I was growing up. This movie doesn't look anything like the Lost in Space.
That you remember.
Yeah, it was a lot of people. You remember the show, Andy?
Yeah, I do.
Walking around and they wore like velour sweaters.
Yeah,
And there were a lot
or
of
silver.
fake fur costumes with, you know, big jewel eyes. You know,
Yeah, it was kind of a weird, cheesy...
Vegetable rebellion.
Exactly, like cheesy version of Star Trek, you know?
Right.
And what I was curious about is I look at the clips from this movie, and it doesn't look anything like that.
No.
All the women in this are wearing those sort of cone Madonna brassieres that on the spaceship. What is that? Is that important for deep space travel? What's the story?
I think you must be referring to the cryo suit.
The cryo suit,
Which
yeah.
is when we go into cryo slumber in preparation for our
Cryo slumber.
Yes. But yes, it is a rather form-fitting, sort of look a little bit armor-plated. There is a breastplate, but you know, Heather and I are both endowed in certain ways, and it was just highlighted. That's all.
Oh, okay. All right. I wasn't complaining. I was just saying.
No, but
I prefer it to the big hunky velour sweater that
cones.
They weren't cones. So they're different from the Madonna
that
breastplate.
Cone, there's no sort of there's no nature's equivalent to those.
No, I never thought Madonna had long pointed.
But do you know
she was bred as a weapon initially. I remember the biggest thing I remembered about Lost in Space, the TV show, was Dr. Smith.
Oh yeah.
And I get Gary Oldman is playing Dr. Smith.
Gary Oldman is Dr. Smith, yes.
In the movie. Yes. I remember the guy, I guess it's Zachary Harris who played him on the TV show, was just way over the top and crazy. And even as a kid, when you're not supposed to notice those things, you'd be like, oh my God, that guy's way over the top. He'd yell at the robot and say, quiet, you bubble-headed booby! And he, you know.
But Gary has a lot of those kinds of lines. You know, my platinum-plated pal and all that kind of stuff.
But he maybe tones it down a little bit.
Well, Gary's not a real toned-down kind of guy.
Okay.
Dr. Smith is still pretty out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I want to also talk about, I haven't seen you since you were in Austin Powers. You're Mrs. Kensington.
Yes.
In that. And I was curious if it bothered you at all how the lines from that movie... I've actually talked to Mike Myers about this. I said, you know, I really love the movie and everything.
There's certain things you can't take, like, yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby. After that movie came out, wherever you would go...
Shagadelic man.
Yeah, everybody. I mean, in inappropriate situations, you'd go to the emergency room to visit, like, a friend who'd been hit by a car. Is he all right? Yeah, baby. And you'd say, no, okay, great, I'm glad you liked that movie. I did too, but I just want to know if my friend's going to be okay. Be shagadelic, baby. Did it bother you, people doing that? Did they do that to you at all? Or do you, I mean, it must be driving Mike Myers crazy.
It was interesting for me because I was actually in London filming Lost in Space when Austin Powers came out in the States. So I was really sorry to have missed a lot of the phenomenon. And the first taste I got of it was I think it was towards the end of June, and I was at the train station in London. I was going to Paris for the weekend, and there were a bunch of American high school students around who were clearly on summer vacation. And I suddenly found myself surrounded by this group of, like, 11th graders who are like, oh, Mrs. Kensington, yeah, baby, you know, and just going off. They're like, that movie's awesome.
Do you think that were the English were they bothered by that at all?
They loved it.
The English liked it, that he portrayed English people as having jagged tombstone teeth and
New Line said.
They like that?
I'm so hot now.
Oh yeah, all ladies really like that.
No, New Line actually sent us a print so that we could watch it there at Shepperton, and so I watched it with 40 Brits, and they were slayed. They loved it.
Right. Now, will you be in the sequel? Will there be a sequel? There's got to be a sequel to that one.
Well, I actually think the sequel should be primarily about Mrs. Kensington. So,
really?
Yeah, don't you?
Yes, I do believe that's true. Because you're here with me now, and when you're out of the room, I'll have another opinion. Yeah.
Coney.
I'm sorry.
Did people ever call you Coney? Was that ever a nickname?
Coney?
Coney.
People always tried to give me a nickname.
And you refused?
Well, no, it just, Conan doesn't.
Coney. It's
People
like
would try. They'd be like, hey, Cone man. And it wouldn't work.
I kind of like Coney.
You like Coney?
Coney.
I hate it. I hope Coney doesn't catch on.
Okay, Conan.
All right, Coney. I'd just be happy if half the people could pronounce it right. I mean,
What do they say, Conan?
No, they go, Conan. Whenever I go on Regis Philbin's show, it's always like, and Conan's going to be here. Really glad to have Conan here. And I've been on his show like 10 times, and I've actually said a few times, it's actually Conan. All right, Conan. Good to have you.
That's all right.
I'm doing Jimmy Cagney.
I get Mimmy. Mimmy.
I thought that was Kathy Lee. I didn't realize you were talking.
It is my Kathy Lee. Well, Lost in Space opens tomorrow, April 3rd. It's in theaters everywhere, and I hear the special effects in this movie just blow you away.
This movie is amazing. I mean, I only got to see it for the first time a couple weeks ago, and it just blew my mind.
Okay.
It is so exciting.
And watch for those cones. Mimi Rogers, thank you very much for coming back. Hands are cold. Mimi Rogers, we'll be right back. That's our show of the evening. Our apologies to Andrew Caro. We'll have him back real soon. We do want to thank all our guests. Good night. Stay tuned for later. We will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
I gotta be honest, it wasn't completely unexpected, Conan. There was a purpose to my trip to Africa.
Well, what was that?
I had a meeting with a very important man. A guy who knows how to get things done. Get on out here, Kakenji.
Hello.
Wait a minute. Well, wait a minute. Who's Kakenji?
He's a witch doctor, Conan. See, he put some of his evil mojo on Paula Jones, and bang, the sex harassment stuff went all the way. Tell him about it, Kakenji. Well, thank you. Thank you. He says she had no real case anyway. Under Arkansas law, that's true. Right-wing conspiracy. Well, you said it, not me, Kakenji.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much.
She was Miss Arkansas, yeah. Then she went on. Then she became Miss America, you see. Now run along, man.
Okay, no, wait a minute. Let me get this straight. You used a witch doctor?
So what, man? All's fair, no harm done. Just one side effect. He shrunk her head. Show him, Paula.